I'm ready.
What do you have here?
That's the pizza flour for our pizza.
We're not gonna use any of this flour today.
What do you mean?
Today, we're making gluten-free pizza, and we need a different kind of flour.
Gluten-free pizza?
It's so delicious. We are going to make the easiest, quickest, and best gluten-free pizza dough recipe that I've ever had.
Well, I gotta say, I've never had a really good gluten-free pizza.
This one is gonna blow your mind. And it happened because I made a big mistake in the kitchen. I was making a recipe for some Brazilian cheese bread, and I got one of the ratios wrong, and it was this huge amount of product that I needed to use and I refused to throw away. And I played with it and played with it, and I came up with this pizza dough recipe. And we have been eating it in my family for years.
Let's do it.
Let's start. There are 7 ingredients in this gluten-free pizza dough recipe.
But I think 3 of them you might need to go and buy in advance.
A lot of Parmesan, xanthan gum, which is common in gluten-free baking, and our mystery flour.
Tapioca. What about the pizza sauce?
Guys, don't buy your pizza sauce at the store. We're gonna show you how to make one really quickly.
Super quick.
Before we start, we need to make sure we preheat our oven to 425. So when our pizza is ready to go in, the oven is at perfect temperature. This pizza sauce is basic, it's simple, and it's super yummy. It's gonna take 2 minutes to set up, and then we're gonna put it on a back burner and let it simmer for 90 minutes. It just needs to be cool by the time you put it on your pizza. The best part about it is that you can make this the night before or the week before and put it in your freezer. Just remember to take it out so it thaws before your pizza. Heat up your pan with some olive oil.
We have about 4 or 5 garlic cloves that we chopped. Make sure your heat is on medium or low. We want to get really nice flavored olive oil. We don't want burnt garlic, which will give your sauce a really bitter flavor. And we're gonna let it sizzle like that, a couple minutes.
Slow.
We are just creating aromatic olive oil.
Yum.
And the smell already comes through.
Now we're gonna add a can of crushed tomatoes.
Make sure you get really good quality tomatoes in the list of ingredients. Organic tomato, this one is fire roasted, citric acid sea salt for the preservative. You're gonna add half of the can filled with water. It's gonna help you get all those leftovers in the can.
Oregano.
Some dry basil.
And some salt. Bring it to a boil and then lower it to a simmer. Basically, a slow, low boil. If you look closely, you can see little bubbles. You want to leave the lid off so some of the liquid cooks off and it thickens up.
And all we want to do is let all those flavors come together in the sauce. So we're gonna keep it like that for an hour to an hour and a half.
And let it cook.
And that's it.
Mmm.
Yum.
Totally yum. So Italian over here. The most important step in this process is beating the eggs. Whisking these eggs and getting some air in them. We need 4 eggs for this recipe. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork, but a whisk is designed to get air in the eggs, which makes them fluffy. Next is a half a cup of water, a 1/4 cup of oil, safflower, canola.
Not olive oil.
Not olive oil. Mix the ingredients together. Next, we're gonna add the dry ingredients.
Directly into the same bowl.
The same bowl. Because who wants to clean? I like to add the rest of the ingredients directly into this bowl and then put the flour in. 2 cups of Parmesan, 1½ teaspoons of xanthan gum, and a ½ teaspoon of salt.
And guys, if you've never bought xanthan gum, in most stores you're gonna find it in the same aisle where the baking ingredients.
We're gonna add our flour, 15 ounces, and we're gonna mix it up. So after you mix it with your spoon, you're gonna have to get in there with your hand and just squeeze up all the little bits on the bottom. And it should be a little sticky, but it's also pretty dry, so it's kind of an odd combination, but it's pretty pliable.
I gotta say, when I tried some gluten-free pizza doughs, they were either too sticky and they wouldn't get off the peel and it was hard to work with, or they were so dense and ended up being hard. So I'm really curious to see what the best gluten-free pizza dough will taste like.
Regular pizza, a lot of people throw semolina flour underneath it. Kind of gives it like a shake and a groove so it doesn't stick anywhere. Semolina has gluten in it, so you can't do that.
If you have a pizza peel and you want to slide it to your stone and you want something to help that process, use
the cornmeal.
Cornmeal. But we're gonna do it in a different way, just in case you don't have a pizza stone or a pizza peel, because not everybody does. If you're gonna make a lot of pizza at home, this is gonna be a really good investment. It's not expensive.
Not at all.
It doesn't take a lot of room. You can put it under stuff or on the side. And we're just gonna form our pizza on that.
But if you don't have these, you don't have a stone and you don't have a peel, you have a cookie sheet, that's gonna work. I've made this recipe with my children hundreds of times, and I've given them a piece of the dough and they make their own shaped pizza and it comes out perfect. So I take a little bit of the tapioca flour and I sprinkle it on my pan. I rub it on my hands. This recipe makes 2 crusts, 14-inch crusts. I make a kid's pizza and then I make an adult pizza. With my kids, they do it with their hands. They just squish it out. You just wanna start it and then you grab your rolling pin.
I took some paper towel and wet it. It's not gonna slide around.
You just kind of want to roll it out. If it gets sticky, you just want to rub a little more flour on your rolling pin.
I think the big difference here is when I make pizza, I stretch the dough with my hand, I shape it.
It's fun.
But we don't have gluten. We don't have that stretchy quality to the dough. That's why we're using a rolling pin.
Wonderful thing about this dough, it's kind of like Play-Doh. You can move it around. It's very forgiving. You don't have to be a professional.
I'm doing this just so you can see the thickness. And do you leave it rough like that?
I do. I'm a little rustic cook over here.
I guess if you want to make it really nice, you can always grab any knife or one of those pizza slices and just kind of go around it.
Totally. If you're a smaller family, throw this crust right in your freezer.
Wrap it with some saran wrap or in a Ziploc.
I have also made the whole pizza, put the sauce on, the cheese, wrapped it, and threw it in the freezer. And then a few days later, when my kids came home from school, threw it in the oven.
Yeah, if you have 6 freezers at home, you can probably do that. It's time to construct our pizza.
Yeah, baby.
I can't wait. I'm so hungry.
He needs to eat like every 2 hours, this one.
That's true.
So the sauce, you put on as much as you like. I tend to go pretty close to the edge.
Make sure that your sauce is chilled.
Yeah.
At least room temperature would be fine, but not hot. So make that sauce well in advance and you can keep it outside. And like we said, if you did it the day before, so in the fridge or in the freezer is fine. But it cannot be hot, otherwise everything will stick. One of the things we both really like to do on our pizzas, any pizza for that matter, is to put a mix of cheese. Most pizzas you eat out there just use mozzarella.
And cheddar.
My go-to mix is mozzarella that I shred, and I use this cheese called Fontal, which is very mild but has this different flavor. But you can switch it with a Gouda, for example, that is a good melter and will work great with the mozzarella.
Today we have thick cut mozzarella and Parmesan and a mix of provolone. Again, you put as much or as little cheese as you like on your pizza. As a finishing touch, I do a little salt, little black pepper, and maybe a little Parmesan before I throw it in the oven.
For the second pizza, we're gonna add a few toppings. I like to caramelize some onions, saute a bit of mushrooms. You can use spinach, either saute it before or put it under your cheese.
I tend to clean out my refrigerator. I definitely always saute onions, garlic, and peppers. I'll add my Italian spices, salt and pepper. I love garlic, so I may even throw a little extra garlic powder in there. And then I'll see what I have in the fridge. If I have spinach, if I have pepperoni, pancetta, julienne that all up, throw it in there. Then I put that over the sauce and underneath the cheese. Then I put it in the oven to cook. It's delicious.
This is where you can experiment, have fun with it, do your thing. But right now, we're just gonna make it super simple today.
That's it.
Our oven is hot, so we're just gonna go straight there. Is it ready?
The little one is ready. Gonna leave the bigger one in for a few more minutes. Holy cannoli, as we say over here. One step you need to do before you start cutting it is take your spatula and just kind of shimmy it under to loosen it up from the pan. Some spots are gonna be tight, but most of it's gonna come up easily. Lift it off. Now you can use cornmeal or anything, but if you don't have it, this all works.
So the pizza is ready. I can't wait. We left the bigger pizza in the oven for just another 4 or 5 minutes.
You kind of want a crispy bottom.
The color of the dough got kind of tanned. It's time to eat.
Yum. Hot. It's hot.
So tasty.
Not bad for gluten-free.
That's yummy. This is it. It was so simple. I think the dough took us 5-6 minutes.
Maybe.
20 minutes in the oven and you have a gluten-free pizza and it's delicious.
And simple.
We have the exact recipe of this dough in the description below and all that's left to do right now.
Manja. Let's go eat.
Let's eat.